Welcome to the OrganizedPreneur Podcast, the ultimate podcast for female entrepreneurs looking to supercharge their business. I'm Aldreama Harper, host of the OrganizedPreneur Podcast. I'm also a business organizing strategist and coach, where I specialize in helping solopreneurs, freelance professionals, and service-based providers. This is to ignite, build, and transform your business dreams into reality. If you're feeling overwhelmed, struggling to manage clients and tasks, and worried about things slipping through the cracks, you're in the right place. With my signature framework, not only are you able to get your time back and get on track, but also turn your passion and hard work into a sustainable and profitable venture. Well, Karen, thank you so much. I want to welcome you to the OrganizedPreneur Show. This is a podcast where I help entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs particularly, get organized, but add a little bit more infrastructure to their businesses and their lives. I help them to declutter, but it's primarily, help you to just kind of, clear some of the fog, and just so that you have more clarity, because that's the goal of, or should I say, it's the goal, but it's also sometimes a big issue for a lot of us entrepreneurs in the online space, because there's a lot of noise out there.
There is. As you were saying that, I was thinking about if you're a new entrepreneur, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming, all the different things you could be listening to and reading and following.
Yes.
And a lot of us want to bootstrap a little bit to get going. And wow, is there a lot of options. So I love that there's people like you around to help us, people avoid some shiny object syndrome and stay focused.
You know what? I'm in for it. So
yeah, me too.
So by way of introduction, so I'll give a little bit of your bio, but I also want you to share a little bit, some personal things, so we'll just kind of move right into the podcast. So for those who may be, for the first time, being introduced to you, Karen, I'm going to share a little bit of your bio, and then I'll have you to share a little bit, if that's okay.
Sure.
So Karen is the CEO of UpLevel Media. She offers results-oriented and expert conversational marketing strategies that positions her clients to bring in instant results. She comes with a background that includes over 20 years. I love that. That means you're a veteran.
Yeah, I probably can update that to 30 years.
I hear you. And over 20 years in the field of information technology, marketing, and customer relations, making social media if I can get this right, making social media her ideal niche. Did I get that right, Karen?
You did.
So, Karen, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for joining. So for the sake of the listeners who don't know you, of course, like I said, this was, your bio, but I'd love for you to go ahead and introduce yourself and share a little bit more about who you are, who you serve, all of that kind of stuff that people want to know.
Yeah. So, my background started off in sales and marketing in the tech world. And, back in, let's just go with the 90s and the 2000s, I was often the only woman in the room. And I didn't realize the skills that was teaching me. How if I didn't learn how to shine a light on my accomplishments, or frankly, learn how to open my mouth, I never would have been able to have any success at all. So when I shifted gears and I started running, and mostly everything I've done has always been in sales and marketing. So when I shifted my business and the work that I've been doing to online marketing, I realized that was a skill that not a lot of people had. So even though I was helping people with their marketing in general, I was driving people back to LinkedIn because I was like, no, people need to know more about you. You need to tell people how great you are. You need to let people know that you're worthy of being in the room, that you are worthy of the conversation, and that you're worthy of their investment, not just of their money, but even their time to even talk to you about if you're worthy of their money, right? So eventually, learning more and more as I learned about online marketing, I realized that, niching really was an important way to move forward. So, and eventually I was asked to speak all over the place on LinkedIn strategies. And then I realized even more so how women didn't really feel included in these strategies. They felt, so it's not like my work excludes men, but I want women to feel included in the conversations around building a strong, powerful network and, showing up confidently with a brand that positions you as an expert, as if you're peers with the most influential people in your industry. And frankly, I like to call it flipping the funnel, right? Like, when you first go into entrepreneurism, we hear a lot about, especially all that noise you talked about, right? Like, well, the guy down the street charges this much for a yoga class, and I need to charge this much. I'm like, what can you sell that you can charge $10,000 for, $5,000 for, right? And because we're coming to this, many of the people I talk to are coming to this place with so much expertise. We have to have the confidence to lean back on that and to create a business that serves us abundantly. And when we're doing those things, the people we're serving are overserved because we've got the budget and what we're doing to really be able to way over deliver to them. And that's how we start to build wealth. So I started to niche my business down more and more on supporting women with these strategies. Formally, I guess I support women with LinkedIn and PR marketing strategies, but ultimately I want there to be more wealthy women in the world. And it comes down to learning how to establish credibility, build actual real connection, have actual conversations, and that's where the conversions happen, right? So I, and I think that all that noise you talked about earlier, I think that got even worse during the pandemic, and the strategies that I was taught 10 years ago and maybe are still out there being taught to people are just not working anymore. It's just too noisy. I used to get clients from social media. People used to see tweets and then reach out to me and say, hey, Karen, and I can think of a couple of clients that paid me, many thousands of dollars over the years to work with them that found me on a tweet or a LinkedIn post. That's not really happening anymore. Now it comes down, it's more, marketing is more intimate and more personal. So that's why I love getting really clear on where your big opportunities are and staying so massively focused on that, making some real money, and then we can start playing with some of the other stuff.
Yeah. I love so much of everything that you have said.
I love that. You love that.
From the part about, when you were saying that, you love working with women, but you're not excluding men, but
Right.
you prefer, working. Same thing here,
Yeah, I just want women to feel more included. And I don't think
Yeah.
they're feeling as included as I want them to feel with
Yeah.
some of these higher ticket strategies. The people that are teaching it there's a lot of bro marketing going on out there. And I'm not knocking that stuff because it works, but it
Right.
doesn't always work for us, right? So
Right.
so I
Right.
I know that there's a more feminine way to do this, and
Yeah.
it's not a hard sales approach. It's just having actual conversations with the
Yeah.
right people.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great segue, Karen, because you talk about conversational marketing in using social media to have conversations, with your customers and
Yeah.
increase sales and things like that. So tell me a little bit more about this conversational marketing thing. I don't think I've ever heard
Yeah.
that term, but I know it's necessary, and
Yeah.
it's for us to kind of, you know just get through the noise,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we've been saying. So talk a little bit more about that
Well, I
conversational
mean, let's
marketing
just use
side.
LinkedIn, for example. I know
Yeah.
many people listening are probably going, oh my gosh, I get so much spam there. People are just connecting with me and connecting with me, and then they want to sell me stuff. And I get that. I like to call that the weeds. LinkedIn can be your money tree. Don't not water your money tree because of the weeds, right? Pull the weeds. Don't ignore
Right.
them.
Right.
So that doesn't work. I mean, it might work. It might put people on your calendar, but they're not the right people. It's a complete waste of your time. You're going to be
Yeah.
spinning your wheels and you're going to exhaust yourself.
Yeah.
I would much rather you take some time And, as you're building relationships on LinkedIn, there's 3 categories I like to see build relationships in. First, let's not overlook who might buy from you, right? So, but that's not where I want to focus. I want to focus on the other 2 categories. And that is, who else has an audience of people that is similar to the audience you have, and building relationships with them, because now those conversations are not, here's what I do, give me your credit card. They're, here's what I do, who do you know? Right. And that's a beautiful way. And that's a really collaborative way to build your business. And then the third category is, who are the journalists that write about what you do? And are you building relationships with them, actual relationships? Right. So from there, and it's not times 100 a week or a month, it's times like 5 a week, but if you're really intentional and craft a strategy and do research and have, 5 calls a week on your calendar with people you've connected with on LinkedIn across those 3 categories, but heavy on the second 2, you're going to see magic happen. But where it gets, where the strategy comes in, and this is why I really want women to hear what I'm saying right now. We're often very good at that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like,
true.
okay, we met in this group, and we're this Facebook group, or we met in this networking event. Let's have coffee. And then we say, okay, if I think of anybody, I'm totally going to send them your way. I mean, does that ever happen? No, it never happens. Right. I want you to take that next little step and make that have like an action item and say, okay, let's make a plan. Right? What can we do? How can I get your name in front of my audience, and tell me how I can serve your audience with my stuff, and actually create a plan for that. Thinking bigger, thinking like a CEO, thinking like, a multi 6 or 7 figure business owner, not somebody that just wants to get another client. And that is the piece. That's the tricky piece to conversational marketing. You want to have these conversations, but you want to remember that you run a business, and that you can't serve until your cup is overflowing, right? Or you best serve when your cup is overflowing, when you're serving from that overflow, right? So that's what that conversational marketing is. It's about doing some research. There almost never has to be cold outreach. I can promise you, if you put anybody in front of me, we can have a 30-minute conversation and they'll leave with 100 warm people they can do outreach to. We know people across so many areas of our lives, and they're targeted, right? Not randomly. And then just do that. And, somebody talked one time about the strategies that I teach, and they said that what they love about the strategies that I teach is that I ask them to be consistent, but I also let them be lazy. You're lazy but consistent. I'm like, that's it. That's exactly it. Because we're busy. Nobody wants to connect with 100 people a week, right?
Right.
So I don't really think that any of us are lazy specifically, but the consistent piece is important. And having people on the call on your calendar, but having a real intention for, how is this call on my calendar going to serve me and serve my business?
Yeah.
And that's the kinds of conversations I want people to be having.
Yeah. I love that, because it really is, in so many words, it's like, the difference between transactional conversations versus, conversational marketing or relationship,
Right.
building relationships. And so I think it's so important, because, we keep talking about, the noise and the shiny objects and everything like that, but when you build a relationship, with people, then, they remember you, you remember them.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it minimizes this competitive thing, because here's the thing, and I know, I can tell you would agree to this, but there really is no competition, because even if we did the same thing,
somebody's going to resonate with you, somebody's going to resonate with me, and I don't want people that don't resonate with me.
Exactly. And so now, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but do you think that we as women may feel the pressure to be it's more like this what do you call it, the imposter syndrome, all of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Do you think we feel that more than men?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can tell you, I read a book one time and I was like, yes, 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 this is the thing. And the book, I can't remember who it was, but she started the book out by saying, I was sitting in a room and there's a man in the front of the room and he starts spouting off this nonsense that didn't make any sense. And she's like, what? This man makes like several $100,000 a year. And he was up there talking about this like it was the gospel. She's like, no woman would do that.
Right.
There's studies that show that if there's a job opening and there's 10 requirements for the job opening, a man will apply if he has 3. A woman needs 11 before she'll apply. And the important thing to understand about imposter syndrome is it's okay to have. Like, we all have it. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to have it, but we need to recognize it. And we need to
Mm.
know that at every new level, there's going to be more imposter syndrome, right? So a lot of the women that I work with are maybe changing careers, right? Maybe they were in corporate and they're moving into an entrepreneurism and they've never been an entrepreneur before. How could they know how to be this person,
Yeah.
right? So it's okay to do identity work and to do mindset work.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if I have 2 people and somebody just dives all in on the strategy but refuses the mindset work, and the other person goes all in on the mindset work and kind of half-asses the strategy, the second person that does the mindset work is going to have the success faster. I can give you strategy all
Absolutely.
day long, but if you don't feel you're worthy of it, you're just never going to get there. So it's okay but we have to recognize it. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have to do some work around it. And that's okay, as long as we know that when you go from a $100 business owner to $1,000 business owner to $1 million business owner, every
Mm-hmm.
step there's new levels of imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said that any better. I mean, it's like, and I tell people, that particularly new, entrepreneurs, they have all these fears around, certain things and things like that. And I said, you know what? It's probably not going to go away. Because it's just like what you're saying, each time you reach another level, there's going to be another level of, there's going to be another level of stress. There's going to be
Yeah.
another
And then
level of,
if you're really comfortable where you are, I don't know, are you really achieving what you want to achieve? Like, I feel like, we've heard all these crazy things. The magic happens outside of your comfort zone. Right.
yeah.
So and even when we write, like, one of the services we offer is we write LinkedIn profiles. And so often I say to women, like, if it doesn't make you a little queasy to hit save, then we haven't talked enough about how brilliant you are,
Wow.
because it's like, okay, and I've had women that we've written profiles for who are like these amazing women whose names you'd recognize, top 10 women who like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm bragging. I'm like, no, you did all this stuff. You're owning this. You're not bragging. You're
Yeah.
owning it. So
Yeah.
it's part of who we are, and it's okay. We just
Yeah.
have to recognize it and understand
Yeah.
that there's so much out there for us if we are willing to think bigger.
Yeah, yeah. As you were saying that, I thought, why is it that we struggle so much with, we call it bragging, about ourselves. Why is it that we struggle so much with
I don't
that
know.
when we do a lot?
I know. And we don't value the things that we're really good at too,
Yeah,
like, if you make like the best eggplant parmesan in the world, girl, sell that stuff. You know what I
exactly.
mean? Don't think I know how,
Yeah,
just because you know how to do it doesn't mean like that's your skill. Do it,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we don't value the skills that we have.
Yeah, yeah. So in your so one of the things as I was, reading, you said that this type of conversational marketing brings out instant results. What does that mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, talk a little bit about that.
People buy from people. You can post to, till the cows come home and pray and cross your fingers and hope somebody's going to buy it.
Yeah.
But when you are talking to people, when you have a process that gets conversations on your calendar every single week, like you brush your teeth, like you water your plants, you know, the magic happens fast.
Yeah.
So the instant results come from, if you want I'll give you an example. There's
Mhm.
let's say you're a woman and if you're a woman and you're listening to this and your goal is to make a couple bucks so that you can, pay for a cleaning person, that's cool. That's
Mhm.
great. I'm not knocking that at all. But if you have an ambition to run, to bring $100,000 or $200,000 into your household every week, then to have those kinds of instant results, you have to think bigger.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is, and you can have instant results by thinking
Mhm.
bigger. There was a networking group that I went to a couple months ago, and it was in person. And I used to live in this area, and I just recently moved back here. So I said, oh, let me go to this women's networking group. And
Mhm.
they went around the room and asked all the women, how can we support you? What can we do? And every woman, like if they sold pens, they said, well, I make this pen. I sell great pens. If you know anybody that wants to buy a pen, let me know.
Mhm.
Every single person said some version of that. And when it came to me, I was like, here's what I do. I want the next time I sit in this room for every single woman to tell me, here's what I do. I sell pens. Who do you know that has a stationery store that needs 10,000 of them? Right? Like, I'm not asking you to do something different. Sell pens if that's what you want to do, but think bigger. Look for
Yeah.
those bigger opportunities, because that is where the wealth comes in, not the one pen at a time.
Mhm.
And that's the piece that I think a lot of women overlook. And that's where the instant results happen. I have a
Mhm.
student in one of my programs that just yesterday, I think, said to me, she was creating like a VIP package, and
Mhm.
she had somebody that wanted information on it. And she said, I heard your voice in my head as I was talking to him. She goes, and I heard your voice and you were like, add a zero and then shut up. She goes, so I did. I added a zero and then I went silent. And he said, okay, I'm in. Where do I sign? Right. And I was like, yes, 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 yes. We don't value what we do enough, because here's the thing. I don't want her to overcharge people, but
Right.
now she has the budget to massively over deliver to this client. She can
Mm.
bring in other resources, right? She can really provide a huge value because she's brought in enough budget. And so often we say, well, it's going to take about 5 hours of my time, and I think I want $50 an hour. So I think I better, no, that's not how you
Right.
build wealth. And again, if you're looking to just bring a couple $100 in and you want to sell dollars for hours, that's okay. But if
Right.
you want wealth, we have to think differently.
Yeah, yeah, that is so good, so good. So I know you also do, help your clients with PR strategies. Tell me a little bit more about that, and what are some of those
Yeah.
strategies that you
Yeah.
offer?
Oh, it's so interesting. It's one of my favorite things that I do, because, as we're building relationships and looking for those higher ticket opportunities, right? If you're taking your pen and you want to go to a distributor, you need to look credible, right? You need to
Mhm.
look worthy of their time. So PR helps us do that.
Mhm.
And journalists, there are more journalists than there are entrepreneurs. They are in need of sources every day. There are more podcasts than there are podcast guests, right? So
Yeah.
what I want is for when people throw your name into a search bar, 10 pages to come up. And I don't, it doesn't really matter what happens. It's about the credibility.
Mhm.
PR gives you credibility. And there's two different kinds of PR. There's probably more than two, but generally there's paid and earned media, right? Paid media,
Okay.
earned media. There is nothing wrong with paid media. There's nothing wrong with paying Forbes magazine $10,000 for a feature. People do it all the time.
Mhm.
But most of us don't have that money as we're building
Mhm.
our credibility, right? So
Mhm.
earned media is finding out who writes about what you do, and then building
Mm.
relationships with them, having those conversations. I have a client who's a real estate agent, and she was on the West Coast, and she applied these strategies. She had a great LinkedIn profile, so she looked worthy of their time, right? She had done that piece,
Mhm.
and just saw an article written by a journalist about real estate, and she connected with the journalist, which is the piece most people forget. Connected on LinkedIn with the journalist, but then shared the post across her social, tagged the journalist everywhere, and then said to the journalist, "This was such a great article. You may have noticed I tagged you across social. Thanks for writing this. I hope whatever." And journalists, believe me, you have a podcast. I have a podcast. We don't wake up every morning with those kinds of messages in our inbox, right? So,
Right.
when it happens, we remember. So a week later, this same journalist reached back out to my client and said, I'm writing another article. Can I ask you a couple questions? And she said,
Mhm.
sure. Turned into a full page article on NBCnews.com, seen by 85 million people. And, listen, Did 85 million people call her? Absolutely not. But what happens now is she's got that credibility. She can use as seen on NBC. She can show that article. And when there's a house that's being listed in her area and there's competition for the listing, when she drops on the table, well, when I was NBC News' housing price specialist in October, she doesn't lose a listing, right? Because she's got that credibility. So the publicity does that. And it was as simple as what I just said. Great LinkedIn profile, shared a post, and a week later they featured her. It can be that simple. And it should be that simple, but we have to have a strategy. Again, it's part of that consistent but lazy, right? You've got to build that into what you do. So so that's how this all fits together, right? This like connection, credibility, conversation thing. If you're building connections and you've got dust bunnies on your LinkedIn profile, or people can't check, when they check you out, you don't check out, you're losing the opportunity. So the PR helps you build credibility so you stop losing those opportunities, and you feel credible to get those bigger opportunities. And frankly, it helps with that imposter syndrome too when you're getting interviewed in newspapers and magazines.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I guess I never thought about it, that way. So like, because even when I saw that you do, PR, I was thinking, okay, because I know you said there's a lot of, different kinds of PR, like, and we know that that's public relations.
Right.
And so there's, the PR that helps people to, clean up their mess. Right.
Yes.
Have you ever done anything like that, or that's
no?
not
I
even
am
in
not
your
a
genre?
PR expert.
Right.
I'm a relationship expert, relationship building, business relationship building expert. Let's get really clear on that. Do not come to me for your personal relationships. That is definitely not my strength. But it's part of that relationship building.
Yeah.
And building relationships with journalists so that they call you when there's an article happening. If you have something happening in your town, you can call them up and say, hey, you might want to come to this. And then they cover it, right? Those are the kinds of things. Like, there are people like us. Listen, it's likely not going to be Oprah, but it might be. Who knows, right? The only way to do it is to, they need us. And the people that I am sure everyone listening can experience sometime in their life where they saw somebody on the television that looked like they were 12 years old, talking like an expert about what they're expert in, going, what? How is it this? I know so much more than this person that's there. How are they sitting on that TV?
Yeah.
Right? They didn't come knocking on their door. Right? They went and looked for it. So all I'm saying is, let's go and look. Let's have a process that you're consistently doing some outreach around publicity, around being guests on podcasts, around being speaking opportunities and things like that, because it builds your credibility and helps it just make it, because when so many women are worried about like selling, you don't have to sell as much when you come to that place with the credibility and and the conversation. It's not a sale anymore. It's just hey, here's what I do. You've seen a lot of the places that I've been interviewed. You've seen the credibility I have. I'm here to help you if you want some help.
Right. So when when a person comes to you, what is like their biggest problem? Like, they okay, I'm looking for someone to do what? Or sometimes they don't even know, right?
Yeah.
That's probably
well, here's the thing. One of the biggest problems is one of the things that you solve, which is they're just all over the place.
Yeah.
And they think they need to be doing all the things. And to be honest, if you're looking to scale your business with ads and low ticket offers, I'm not your person. I'm not saying that doesn't work. That's just not what I do.
Right.
What I do is help, if you're in a new chapter, if you're stepping into a new chapter, if your business is fairly new, or you've realized that all the people out there that tell you you should have a 6-figure business are crazy, because a 6-figure business, after you pay all your expenses, is not enough money. Right. So, you've now realized, okay, I'm done on the hamster wheel. I need to go to $250,000 this year. Right. When you realize that, that's where I want you, because the first thing you need to do then is work on your credibility, your personal brand, and have higher ticket offers. And again, it's not about overcharging. It's about, who wants to buy 10,000 of my pens, right? Like understanding what that offer is, and then reverse engineering a process
Mm-hmm.
to get the people on your calendar that can lead to those closed sales. And
Gotcha.
and if you do just that,
Mm.
right? Don't post a single time on Instagram, don't dance on TikTok. You
Oh my
just
gosh.
do that, you will have $250,000 a year business.
Yeah.
But we get caught up in all the things we think we should be doing. I'm not saying don't do all those things.
Right.
I do all those things. I don't dance on
Yeah.
TikTok, but I
Yeah.
do a lot of
I
things.
hear you.
But at the end of the day, what I want you to do is make enough money that you can pay people to do that stuff. And
Yeah.
you stay in your lane, stay in
Yeah.
your zone of genius. You don't need, think about like the value ladders that people offer, right? I have a
Mm-hmm.
$2 thing and an $8 thing and a 12. Do you know how many sales pages you have to create and thank you pages and
Right.
payment pages you have to create for that? Like I don't have time. Who can
Right.
do that?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, you know what? Sell something for $10,000, sell it tomorrow and hire somebody, take 2,000 of that, put it in an account and pay somebody $1,000 a month for 2 months and then sell another one of those $10,000 things.
Yeah.
And once you know how to do that, you can self-fund your business.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So what's like one thing that, and I know because we've talked about a whole lot of things, right? And so like if you were to give someone like one thing, one takeaway, from this conversation, what's the one thing that they could do
Okay.
today
Yep.
that can just,
So go to Staples and buy those big giant sticky notes and stick it on your wall and put on the top of it, I'm going to say $10,000, and then create something that you can offer for $10,000 that in your heart of hearts is worth $100,000.
Mm.
Just
Wow.
think bigger. Think
Wow.
bigger.
Wow.
And that right there is going to make a difference. There are very few men in the world that are going out there worried about selling a pen.
Yeah.
Right. They're going out there looking for the bigger deals. We have to think bigger.
Mm.
So just dream it up. Maybe it's an in-person, like I did this with a friend of mine who's a yoga teacher. And I said, there's people that are busy. You're a yoga teacher. You sell classes for $7 a class. And I'm telling you, put a $10,000 offer on the table, right? Like that's a pretty big jump, right? But like, you know what? Maybe you're going to spend a day with me. I'm busy and I'm not 20 anymore. So I have aches and pains and I can only do certain yoga poses. Help me create a couple of different yoga poses. Help me create maybe some meditations that go with it. Maybe some essential oils. Like let's spend a really juicy, amazing day together. Pay for a massage for me somewhere in that day. And then follow up maybe every week, do a one-on-one thing with me via Zoom or something. I'm busy. I'm not coming to your class. And you know what the reality is? I come to your class and I can't do half of it because I'm not 20 anymore, right? So create an offer like that, right? And that, and there are women who are in your community that are busy CEOs, successful women who will do that. For 3 months, you're going to work with them intensively for this $10,000 to really help them have an established yoga practice. So that's what I mean. That's kind of what I mean by that.
Yeah, yeah. So the takeaway for today, listeners, even those who are watching, if you're watching, is to go to Staples, or I'm not trying to push Staples. Whoever office,
wherever you buy it on wherever you buy your
Walmart,
wherever you buy your giant Post-it notes.
Go to your Post-it. Go buy Post-it notes, giant Post-it notes, a giant Post-it note. Put on there an offer.
And if it needs to be 5,000, I can live with that.
You can live with that.
I can live with that
because sometimes people have to kind of start somewhere,
They do, but you know what? Here's the thing. So many coaches come to me and they say, well, I have this 3-month package and it's $1,000 a month for 3 months. And they think that's a lot of money. And I'm like, that's great. What if you front loaded it with an intensive and it's just an option?
Yeah.
We can work for 3 months together and that's $3,000 or for $5,000. We can kick it off with a half day together. Yeah. And we're going to accomplish in 1/2 day what it normally takes us a month and a half to accomplish. And we're going to jump in way ahead. People will pay for that. We want fast results. So there's a lot of ways to do this that is giving your people what they want. We are the ones in the way of giving these, they're willing to pay us for these things. Yeah. We just have to dream them up. By the way, this is one of my very favorite things to do. So hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to do this, if you need help with this. Is just to get, just to dream bigger. And then it's so nice when, and listen, part of this is, we all have imposter syndrome. I remember I had a salesperson working for me one time, and she called me up and she's like, I need a sales page for $18,000. I'm like, really? What am I giving them? Am I giving them a child? Do you know what I mean? Like, what am I giving them?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was amazing to have a budget that I could on the fly bring in my PR expert. It was like, instead of going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I don't have any more money for this client. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Now I was like, I so over delivered to her, and it was such a lesson to me, when we did this, and this was like 10 years ago, right? Like, so there are people, you need to be completely confident in your ability to deliver.
Yeah.
Right. And I bet you are, if you're in your wheelhouse, and listen, I can't promise results because I don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
Right. So,
exactly.
So you're not promising results. You're just promising that you're going to work with them to the best of your ability on some kind of transformation.
Right.
And then dream up things.
Yeah.
Pick them up in a limo. Send them flowers. I don't know,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And you said the key word there was, transformation.
Yeah.
Because that's what people are looking for. They want, that that transformation, so but yeah, so I know you have a podcast. Let's talk about your podcast. So
my podcast is called Good Girls Get Rich. And
I love it.
It really, the meaning behind that really is when you do what you're good at, like stay in your lane, do what you're good at. And that's where the abundance comes into your life. So, it gets published every Monday. And in fact, this week, the week we're recording this, we did an episode just solely on how amazing it is when women support women. There's this a phenomenon happening on Threads, which is a new social media platform, where it's been going on for like 2 months now, where it's just women supporting women. And we are so hungry for this. So, that's what I stand for. Like I said, I want there to be more wealthy women in the world. And when we support each other, that's where this happens. So that's what my show is about. It's about, some of it's strategy and tactics.
Yeah.
A lot of it is mindset. We do have some guests too. So, it's my gift to my audience every week. This is for yours, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I love that. Now, you mentioned Threads. I tried Threads and I was like, I
agree with you. I'm not necessarily buying into Threads totally yet, but this women supporting women phenomenon is blowing my mind. Every single time I log into Threads, it's still going on. Wow. In fact, like if I was a guy, I'd probably have left Threads by now.
Yeah.
Because unless it's just what I'm seeing, because that's what I do. Yeah. But it's so amazing. It's like women are hungry for this. Yeah. Like we're hungry for this. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's take care of each other. Let's help each other.
Absolutely. So what's next for you?
Oh boy. We're making some changes to some of the work we do in the new year. What I'm going to be doing we're going to be adding on an addition to the podcast this year. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if it's going to replace the podcast, but we're doing a little bit of rebranding. So I'm going to be doing a live weekly interview series as well. And that's going to be live across all my social media platforms. So I'm excited about that. And to be honest, I don't have a lot of new things coming. I stay in my own lane. Right? Yeah. So we've got some new branding coming up, and just diving deeper into what we're all already doing. Yeah. And seeing how we can incorporate more done for you services into the work we do, because the women we work with are busy. And we want to help them as much as we can. So that's what's happening. More done for you. We're not going to be an agency, but we're going to do more done for you work this year.
Yeah. That's awesome. So do you have something like, a program like right now, something you wanted to offer? Because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, I do. So, I only work with people 2 ways. And again, simplify, right?
Yes.
And whether we work together privately or you're in my program, the work is exactly the same,
Yeah.
and we talked a little bit about it here, right? I just take you through that process. But our 12-week program is designed, and again, we're building more done for you into it this year. So it's a really good time to get in on it. It's called the She's Linked Up Accelerator Program, and it's very hands-on. We write your LinkedIn profile for you. We give you weekly accountability calls to move you through this, because like I said, we can't guarantee you results, but what we can do is everything we can do to help you get results. And the first thing that happens with everyone is that they get a call with me to do that dream up your big offer thing, because I love doing that. And then we put a process in place to reverse engineer your system so that you land those kinds of contracts. And by the end of the 12 weeks, we want everybody landing those contracts. So we're now running them in cohorts, which is kind of new to us. But I love that because it allows us. There was a woman that just joined recently, and she was a little concerned about having the time to do the homework. And I said, now that we're running cohorts, we can do a lot of homeworky type things on the weekly group calls. Because everybody's in the same place, where before, when everybody was started at a different time, we couldn't do that as much.
Right.
So I've got a beautiful, amazing team of people that I work with that, and honestly, the clients I work with, when women are given the opportunity to do these kinds of things, it is magic. It is magic when they claim it and then they own it and then they just start doing it. Like I said, one of my clients was just like, I added a 0 because you said to, and they said yes. I have another client who joined. She actually was previous in the program, and she joined we have some stuff on the back end we offer, and she came to me and she's like, I want 6-figure business contracts. And I'm like, all right. She has never done one. I go, all right, we'll get it done. And she's been doing it for I think she's in 6 weeks in, and she's landed a $48,000 contract this week. So they're doing it when they claim it, and they have a system and the support, not just of me, but of the other people in the cohorts, the other people around them. Like when these women are together, oh my gosh,
magic happens.
Unbelievable what can happen.
Yeah, that is so cool. Now, you said the name of it pretty fast, so I didn't get it. What was the name of it?
It's called the She's Linked Up Accelerator Program.
She's Linked Up.
Yeah. And I will say that we only bring people in by invitation, because I am pretty committed to only serving people that I know we can help.
Right.
So we have a quiz. If you go to linkedinquiz.com, it'll give you a sense of what's your marketing style. And because a lot of the work we do is very right brain, left brain, even the quiz incorporates that. Like, one of the things we do in the quiz is we identify what your crystal is. This is actually my crystal. And we incorporate some left brain, right brain. There's some morning meditations in there, like morning visualizations in there, based on your marketing style. And then also, of course, there's the tactical stuff, right? The tactical, based on your style, do more of this and less of that. But one of the things you'll get as you go through the quiz is a link to an opportunity to book a call with me. And we can then, at that point, we just see if it's a fit to work together to be able to support you. And it's not that if we don't think it's a fit that we don't want to support you. I will give you, do these few things, and let's talk again in 3 months.
Absolutely.
I'm not abandoning anybody.
Right.
But if we invite you to the program, it's because I see at least $250,000 a year business in your immediate future. And I don't want that to scare anyone, because like I said, if you sell pens and you're like, I just need to sell another $2 pen. Well, if we're selling 10,000 of them, we can get pretty close to that number if we get one new distributor a month. Right. So don't let it scare you. Just be open, and let's chat and see what we can conjure up.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am super excited to have had you as my guest today. I mean, we covered a lot.
We did. We did.
And that's what I like. And I love experiencing your conversational style.
And this is it. This is what we do. This is what I teach you how to do. And we know how to do this, right? You've got these people in your network already. We just need to I like to call it, like, we give you like a plug and play. We're just going to pull you in, throw you in a phone booth. And when you come out, you're going to have the full system. You're going to look amazing, and it's all going to, work for you.
Now, you said phone booth. Now, some people...
Oh, yeah. Now you know how old I am.
I can relate to what you're talking about, but there may be some that's listening that may be
All
like,
right. So
well,
what is
what's a
that
phone
like? I
booth?
gotta like
What's
in
a
a
phone
portal.
book?
In a portal. How do I? Yeah. I have to think about what the new version of that is. Right. You
I
go
don't
into a.
know. I
Yeah.
don't
I'll have to ask my
know.
kids.
Yeah,
I'll have to ask
it's
my
just real
kids.
funny, some of the things that, like I was saying, a phone book. People are like, I know people
Right.
are like, what is that?
Right.
So but yeah, so I just thought that was really funny. So,
That's so
but
funny.
yeah, so those who are listening, all of the information, her contact and Karen's contact information, all of that is going to be in the show notes. I want you to reach out to her. And she's an amazing woman. She has some amazing things going on. And so I'm super excited to have had her on the show. Karen, thank you so much for
Oh, it's
coming.
my pleasure to be here. Please let me know if you connect with me on LinkedIn. This is where we're introduced to each other,
Yes.
and definitely take that quiz. Just get started with that. See where it goes. See what you think.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't just tell you what you should be doing. We tell you things like maybe don't do as much of this.
Yeah.
So
And
it's a lot of good stuff in there.
yeah. And I'm glad you said that because that's the thing that a lot of people are tired of,
Yeah,
you
and no
know?
spam ever, and no cold calling ever. No
Oh
need.
my gosh. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Karen. I so appreciate you.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you
look
so much
forward
for having
to, yeah,
me.
I look forward to, seeing you out there in cyberspace. Cyberspace. Is it cyberspace? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll look you up if I get to Dallas.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here with me on the OrganizedPreneur Show. And we're definitely want you to come back and share more of your wisdom, particularly like next year, see what's going
Always,
on.
anytime,
Yeah.
anytime. I'm
Yeah.
happy to come
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
So listening and subscribing to the podcast, simply go to organizedpreneurpodcast.com. And also check out the freebies available, including a free training at theorganizedpreneur.com. So you ready? Let's go.